NATO military leaders doubt the ability of the UK armed forces to take over the leadership of NATO's Rapid Response Force, VJTF, in 2023. This is due to the depletion of British military resources after providing aid to Ukraine. The UK will complete leadership of the NATO Rapid Response Force from Germany by the end of 2023. However, NATO has asked Germany to remain at the helm of NATO forces for another year as Britain is unable to provide the 5,000 troops it needs. British media said there was a serious problem due to a shortage of ammunition and military equipment, which had been supplied to Ukraine, quoted from Sputnik. British troops are also being stretched to train Ukrainian troops. Britain is now in its most vulnerable position since the Second World War, as the British Army is the smallest in 4 centuries. Meanwhile, the British Navy shrank by less than half during the Falklands War in 1982. The head of the UK Parliament's Defence Select Committee, Tobias Ellwood, said the British Army was in a dire state, despite 2 decades of multi-billion-dollar investments. British Defence Secretary Ben Wallace also said the British Army was lagging behind its peers and needed investment. Despite this fact, Ellwood stated Britain, which is embroiled in the Ukraine conflict, needed to face Russia head-on instead of leaving Ukraine to do all the work. Britain is one of the Western countries that is actively supplying Ukraine with various types of weapons systems. Apart from that, Britain also trained Ukrainian military personnel in the midst of a special Russian military operation. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announced his country will deliver 14 Challenger 2 tanks to Kyiv. Later, the British Ministry of Defence said Ukrainian forces had begun learning how to operate British tanks. NATO's Rapid Reaction Force, VJTF, was established in 2014 as the spearhead or first line of defence in fighting Russian advances against NATO members. NATO says reaction forces must be ready at a moment's notice to meet a major crisis immediately, quoted from Mirror UK. This troop leadership is intended to move between NATO members on an annual basis. The troops were deployed for the first time in 2022 under French leadership in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Rapid reaction troops were sent to Romania to guard against further advances towards NATO territory. NATO stipulates that troops in an army cannot be double activated. This means that you are not allowed to work on other operations while serving in that role. NATO has said it is betting on Britain's ability to take command of a rapid reaction force unit before the January 1, 2024 deadline. They have asked the German military whether to continue commanding the unit in 2024. The decision by several NATO countries to send tanks to Ukraine is a high-risk move that may not help end the conflict. This statement was made by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Wednesday. I personally cannot say that the delivery of the tanks will solve this problem. This is a high-risk endeavor and will only line the pockets of the gun dealers, Erdogan said when asked about the tank. Earlier in the day, Spain announced it would deliver at least 6 Leopard 2A4 tanks to the Ukrainian government, and that it would need to consult with the Spanish military industry about the possibility of delivering more. After weeks of resisting Ukraine's demands, Poland and several other countries agreed to deliver the German-developed Leopard tank.